Today I'm going to be showing you how Denham Audio made his remix of You Sure Do. You Sure Do is a timeless classic. It is one of the best dance songs ever made, and that is without question. Denham Audio remixed the track into a breakbeat version. It got tons and tons of support from DJs. I made friends with the guy who made the original track, and he's an absolute geezer. Great, so let's get into the track and see how it was made. So I've set the project to 130 BPM, and I've already got the vocal in. I split it using LAI. Here's what it sounds like. Great, the first thing I'm going to start with is a breakbeat. You can find these, if you just Google like breakbeat drums and stuff like that, you're going to find them on Reddit and links to lots of breakbeat drums. So yeah, download your breakbeat drums, and then one of the breaks that he sort of uses is a days break. So it's sort of like a jungle drum and bass, whatever. Then just drag that in. The thing with a lot of these old breaks is that the BPM is really strange. So it's like they're not quite on the number, but that's just fine. Ableton will sort of recognize that and figure out the exact number. For this is 169.91. I'm just going to grab this little section here because I love this part. It's just for my own pleasure. Sure do. Right, anyway, so now we've got that, let's add another breakbeat. So a big famous breakbeat, right, is the think break. So you'll recognize it. It sounds like this. Used in loads of drum and bass tracks like Wilkinson. Literally, it's probably the most used break. If you don't recognize that vocal, then you're pretty new to dance music. There's 3 versions of the think break. Obviously, the issue with this track is that that vocal hit doesn't match. So what we can do is chop it out. So it hits here. So delete this, and then we could grab maybe this part, and then it happens again at the end, so just grab that other bit where there's no vocal, and then we can just duplicate that along. One thing you do hear in that think break is the sort of shakers, which his version, he doesn't have the shakers, so I don't think he's used the think break, but it's definitely something you should consider using in your own track. And say, for example, that little vocal hit doesn't match the sound of your track, you can maybe isolate it like this. Grab it, and then you could pitch it. So you could pitch it up, down, so it matches the key of your track. Like that kind of matches, I think, if I pitched it up 4. So yeah, definitely consider using a think break, but if not, I think he goes for a days break. And maybe him together. Another break which I think works well is the cooling break. So this is very similar in terms of the pattern of the days break. So let's just search cooling break. And I think that's actually what he uses, to be honest. I think let's just get rid of that vocal hit because we don't need that in the think break. So just go back to what we had at the start. And that is sounding really good. On his, I do notice he sort of groups them all, I'm assuming, unless he just used one. And he uses an EQ just to take away a little bit of that top end. So again, of course, the think break's optional because it comes with those shakers. but maybe it's a good addition, who knows. One cool thing you can do with like breakbeats as well is like chop them up. So say this day's break, you could, look, I'm not the best at this because I don't really do it. I don't really work with breaks all that often, but you can just grab little elements and then create your own sort of chops. So, and it's pretty easy really. You just got to keep sort of on the grid. Does it sound like this? And then you could even have maybe a reverse. So grab that, click reverse, and reverse this one too. But yeah, you can play around with these till the fucking cows come home. Do you know what I mean? You could be doing that forever. So I'm going to call it quits there, and then let's move on to the next part, the Reese Bass. Great, so insert a new MIDI. Just label it the Reese. Just label these the break, and let's insert some MIDI. So the notes he uses are the F sharp for a 1 bar, up to the A sharp for 1 bar, and then down to the D sharp. And that goes for 2 bars. Now we've got the MIDI, let's have a look at the sound. So I'm going to open up Serum, go to Serum 2, I'm going to go to User, and I'm going to find the Speed Gauge Volume 4 Serum preset pack. This is one of my own packs which has tons of remakes of different Speed Gauge tracks. So I've basically picked like 20 really popular Speed Gauge tracks and then remade them and then put all the parts and all the synth parts, and you also get the MIDI files separately, but you get it all with this pack, and you can just come in here, click them in, and it's fucking easy. Great, so in terms of the sound, there's a lot of Reese basses in this pack. I'm just going to start with this first one, another Reese. This is to saw waves detuned. I'm just going to turn off this clip mode because it's got sort of audio previews in, and this is going to sound like this. To adjust the tone, you can sort of play around with this. Or you can do it in the macros. I've set it up in the macros so you can do that same thing. Great, so another Reese bass we can do is the For Me preset, which is basically built off 2 harmonic morphs. So one's pitched down by 2 octaves, so is the other. One's detune -25 and one's +32. So this is the same theory of making a Reese bass as the other one, which is based off saw waves, but this has a different like harmonic style to it. And if you bring it up, there's more sort of like harmony and stuff like that because of the shape of the waveform. So yeah, now we've got the notes for the Reese, we can put this throughout the drop. And if we listen to the track before the drop, come on, baby. He's got the stab, and then in the drop here, it's just Reese and drums. And then the stab sort of comes in over this way. But now let's move on to the stab. Great, so if you come over to the Speed Gauge Volume 4 MIDI, which I mentioned earlier, you've got this pack full of MIDI and you can just drag it in. So this is called Make Me, because the track's called Make Me. So yeah, we drag that in. We have a quick look at the MIDI. So being in the key of D sharp minor, we're basically just going from 1st to 3rd to 5th, and then we go up again, so it repeats itself, 3rd to 1st to 5th. So this is basically that stacked up. So the same chord, but then we've doubled it up. So it's, oh my god. So just drag it up like this. And we do the exact same thing here. And then same chord there, and then we just pitch that down, and that repeats itself. So it's basically just made of these 2 chords, and they're repeating. I think you can get away with having a repetitive pattern because of the bass notes. Because this is playing over this bass note, it technically sounds like it's changing because the bass note underneath it's changing. Great, so once you've built your chord stabs, let's have a look at the sound. So it's quite simple, and it's just 3 saw waves. So we've got a saw wave in the sub, a saw wave in oscillator A, and another saw wave in oscillator B. That's that on its own. And what we've done is change the start time. So if you come on here, we put random to 0. Yeah, on here 0 as well. And we put the phase to 319 and the phase on this one to 212. This way, the waveform is starting at a different position. So on this one, it's starting here, as you can see, over this way. And this one, it starts slightly further back. This way they don't phase with each other. We're then creating a pluckiness through this filter. So turn this on, NG low 18, S, A, B, and N. Drag that over onto the cutoff. We've got a bit of dimension, making it wider, bit of compression. Another filter that's taking away some of that top end we don't need. A chorus, which is also being controlled by this envelope. To make it a little bit wider and more sort of, you know, old school sounding. Bit of ping pong delay. Hull. And a bit of EQ. Just boosting a lot of that mid section at 1640 Hertz. Without these two, it does not sound right. So make sure you focus on getting these right. And the ping pong as well. So these three are the most important. These three, you can probably leave. Cool, so now we've got to put these in place. So before the drop, these all come in these stabs. So just some extra processing, what we can do is add an EQ. He does this just to take away some of the low end of this stab. Make it seem a bit more like old school. And then you could even add a little bit more reverb. So you can do this externally like this. Or you can come in and you can just bring up this reverb knob. So one thing he does here is he grabs, I mean, I've done it with this EQ, but let's actually do it with an auto filter. So let's delete that automation, bring that back up. Grab an auto filter, grab the automation line, and then just bring it up like this. Going to change that because I've got that reverse thing here and I think that's creating too much of an impact for when that stab comes in. So let's just rein that off for now. In case you're confused by what I said, like this, remember I created that reverse thing earlier? That's sort of hitting too much into that stab. It makes it sound a bit off. Another cool thing you could do is maybe add some phasing. So let's grab a phaser and we could have it sort of coming up like this. Maybe that's too much, but if we lower it a little bit. Also maybe grab a reverb and have that automated too. It's just little things like this and little automations which help sort of spice up the sound. Great guys, that is the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something new. I'll see you next week for another banger.